this photograph, we've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a captain.
I was a captain on the leadership council.
Here's a couple of plays. For people that don't know what kind of player you were,
Went up and got that
you
one.
could jump. You were mean, and if they watch closely, they'll see you talked a lot of trash all the time.
Anybody that knows me knows that's been part of my game.
And why don't you give it to these three guys right here?
Yeah.
Here they go.
Yeah. I was ready to roll.
I mean, that's a religious league. I mean, you got to watch out. I'm surprised you didn't get more flags.
Yeah, I mean, I think they threw a few on me.
Welcome to Unfiltered. I'm J. Chad Parker, and I'm your host. We're going to have a podcast today where we talk to a young man who spent most of his life playing sports, striving for excellence, and having unique experiences that many of us never will have, never did have. And it's going to be an interesting conversation to see what Jake's doing today, why he's still doing what he's doing. So let's do our best, as the podcast says, to get an unfiltered view of what Jake's been through, what he plans on doing, and some of the details of his life. That's what's going to make this interesting today. Jake, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Jake, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about where you grew up and what you remember kind of leading up to, say middle school, and then we'll take it from there.
I'm from Tyler, Texas. I grew up here, born and raised. Sports was always a big thing in my life. My dad, he played quarterback. My uncle, he played quarterback. Sports was just always, in our lives. And my dad, he was always there to push me and, make me a tough athlete and a tough player. And, those days just, they helped me really become who I am today, because it really started when you were a young kid. That's when everything, starts. And, those days were some of the best days of my life. And it's, that toughness that my family and my dad gave me when I was young is, one of the reasons that I'm still going at it today. And, I really enjoy it.
Well, you and I have a unique relationship in that I coached a few things through the years, right?
Yes, you did.
And we had some success, and little did we know that one of your best friends and teammates would ultimately be probably one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We always knew he'd be all right, but I mean, we never, we didn't think he could get there.
His dad carried a big reputation around the ballpark when we were little, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about, Pat, the first time you saw him? And I think we were over at Golden Road.
Yeah, no, we were. I remember the first time I saw him pitch, and I remember thinking, damn, I hope I'm on his team. I want to get on his team because just how hard he threw. And, his dad, just as a major league player, he's a guy you kind of just looked up to just anytime you saw him, just because he was a pro athlete. But, I remember seeing Pat that first time and just thinking, that's a guy that you want to play with and not against.
Well, that's kind of what happened, as I recall. We, as I coached, I could always choose an assistant, and we ended up with you and Patrick as our 1 and 2s to begin every season.
Yeah,
right. Remember
that gave us a good start for the team.
But I mean, Patrick better than anybody. I mean, and I know how you are. How competitive do you think you guys really were? Say, when we were 11 and 12 playing Little League baseball.
I mean, me and him, we were really competitive. Me and him together, we had a little bit more fire than some of the other guys, around that we played with. And, funny thing is, even when we were young like that in middle school, me and Patrick, we'd even get into, arguments or fights, just because we were so competitive. At 7 a.m. in the morning at basketball practice, we were, going at it every single day. And, but I always say that that's what made me like who I was as a player and really helped me as a player because I had him to compete with.
You guys played sports in middle school, right? What sports did y'all play in middle school?
Football, basketball, and then we ran track because, you couldn't play baseball until high school.
All right. And so, the baseball was kind of little league, select team, that type of thing, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
All right. And tell us about, I know you had a unique experience. You did one of the things that many of the little leaguers would love to do but have never done, which is what?
We went to the Little League World Series as a Rose Capital East, and we made it all the way where everybody dreams of as a kid. It was the league above where it was on TV, so we got to be on ESPN later in the championship game. It wasn't all televised, but just to be able to make it that far, with your buddies, and that was one hell of a summer.
Well, there's a picture there of the team, and I think that is in Midland, the region before the team qualified to go to the World Series. You remember that?
Yes, no, I remember it very, very vividly. That was after we were headed to the World Series. A bunch of guys from East Texas, just trying to win.
A lot of those guys, or at least your close friends, did they end up at White House High School with you?
Yes, most of them did, and if they didn't, they were either at, Robert E. Lee or Chapel Hill or somewhere around the surrounding areas.
Now, this summer that team made its run, what grade were y'all?
We were 8th grade heading into 9th grade, so it was right before we started freshman baseball.
For people who look at that photograph, that may not notice some of the people in there. It's funny to look and see that there's Patrick and 2 of his groomsmen out of 4 that are in that picture.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean, there's been a Netflix special. There's been a lot of talk about Patrick, about, friends and y'all being friends. And people are sometimes, they seem to be in awe, that a superstar has good buddies. But tell everybody, what you guys did, off the sports fields as young people, in your free time from, the middle school up to the point where you graduated.
Yeah, back then we went sport to sport, so there was never really a whole lot of free time. But, when we did have that free time, we were all inseparable, honestly. Anywhere we went, we went together. If we went to, either my house or, Ryan Cheatham's house, or just wherever we went, we were always together. And that bond just is special, as you can see, to hold that type of friendship from then all the way until present day.
Well, there's just really not a time that I can hardly remember on the weekends at the house or on a vacation or something where, Pat, Ryan, Coleman, weren't either with us or around or somewhere. I think we have a picture, and it looks I think that's the summer of 2011, and there's you and Patrick, and there's Coleman and Ryan. It's funny. That's the wedding party with Travis Kelce.
Yeah, no, it is. It's, that friendship is, it's just special that it's carried over this long, and, it's still going. But, those days were, going on those trips with each other and with you guys were just, back then, it meant a whole lot to us just to, we just loved being around each other.
Well, it's a tribute to Pat. It's a tribute to you guys, back and forth, the way y'all support each other. How even with the distractions he has, the way that he still has time for you guys, still makes time for you guys. Is that fair to say that's what he does?
Yeah, no, it's really fair. And, some of the things that he has done for us and just been involved in, you almost look back and think like, damn, a guy to be probably, arguably one of the most famous people on the planet and the best quarterback in the NFL, for him to take time to do some of the things that he does is, it's incredible.
Well, you guys, not only had a special relationship off the field, the guys that we just saw in the cruise pictures, but as I recall it at White House, of course, Patrick, pretty much took the reins as a junior.
Mm-hmm.
And from that time, especially your senior year, it was you. And here's one of you. Patrick looks like he does in the NFL in this play, doesn't he?
Yeah, he reared back and launched the ball.
Now that was you. And here's another one. Of you, and that's against what was John Tyler at the time, right?
Yes, it was.
And that was a big win for the White House Wildcats.
Yeah, they ended up beating us that game. They ended up coming back and beating us, but
we got them the next year.
Yeah, we got them. You were thinking my senior year, but
I was thinking your senior year.
Yeah,
but the senior year though, it was funny because stretched out wide was essentially the three groomsmen.
Yeah, no, I mean it was, and that special connection, it kind of it was off the field, but it was on the field too that made us really be able to perform.
Now, at the end of your football career at White House in high school, was there anything else that you were able to do to try to, keep the career going or keep the sport in your life?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got two scholarship offers. They were from Tyler Junior College and Navarro Junior College. And, back then I thought I was better than that. So, it kind of discouraged me a little bit, but also pushed me, a little bit. So instead of, going somewhere that I wasn't wanted, I decided to go to TJC, at first just to keep my dream going. And, that's where my football career started. I mean, as we get into this, you'll see that, that wasn't the only place that I've been, and I've moved around a lot. But at TJC, when I accepted that scholarship, that's where it started.
You played in the Texas High School All-Star game, I think, in the summer before your freshman year in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
You remember that game?
Yeah, I do. I remember it very vividly. I got MVP of the game, so I was really happy about that. And there was guys there that were committed to bigger places, TCU, Oklahoma State, and things like that. So I really wanted to have a big game to kind of show that I belonged in all this football stuff, even if I didn't look the most, athletic, the fastest, the biggest. But when you put me on the field, I was trying to prove something.
Did anybody reach out to you after you got that award?
Well, I mean, no, not really, because I was already signed to TJC, so it was too late for anything to really go from there.
All right. So you played at TJC and you got hurt, as I recall, right?
Yeah, I got hurt it was the day before the first game of the season. I hurt my AC joint. I didn't go to the trainer at first because I wanted to play so bad, and I couldn't sleep that night actually. And, woke up that next day, played that game with a messed up AC joint that ended up having to have surgery with, and, scored a touchdown that first game, which I really, I'm proud of that moment because how much I was hurting.
Well, there's people that know you, and stay on this slide, that look back to the hit that Larry Pryor put on you from Sulphur Springs.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That was evident. Most people, couldn't believe you jogged off the field.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately for you, it seems like when we get through this, that injuries have been a big part of the adversity that you've had to overcome.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we're going to talk about the first one was at TJC, and it was before, I guess, was it before the first game?
Night before the day before the first game.
All right, because I remember when you called me, you were upset, and that was you had the starting job. I mean, you were rolling.
Yeah.
Right. But you stayed there at TJC, right?
Mm-hmm. For the rest of the season, yeah.
And then the spring, you were working out again, I think.
Well, in the spring, then I decided I wanted to see what I could do with Texas Tech, and they had always, shown interest to me. So I decided to, walk on to Texas Tech, and I made the team there, and, had a few struggles there, but
it didn't work out.
It didn't work out, yeah.
And, when you're young, a lot of times, sometimes you're distracted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do things you look back, you wish you hadn't done.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. My time at Texas Tech, that's something you can look back and really learn from. There's a lot of decisions that were made that weren't the right ones necessarily. Nothing just outrageous, but it was things that were taking my mind off football. Whether it was multiple things. Just freedom, having college life. And I've grown up to learn a lot of things from those days. But back then I wasn't making the right decisions to be the best football player I could be.
All right, and at some point, you get another opportunity with TJC.
Yes, that was later down the road after the oil field.
All right, I want you to tell us. Patrick. He was playing at Texas Tech and doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's done well all his career, including going to the pros. But along the way, have you and Patrick remained close? Has he remained a friend of yours, even though he's got a lot on his plate?
Yes. I mean, ever since he got drafted, anytime, sometimes when people get that big time, they get drafted in top 10 first round, you wonder, what's their friendships with people going to be like and how they're going to react, after that, because they have so much going on. But, everything he's done since then was, he's kept us in his lives. Obviously we don't hang out as much as we did in high school because, we can't see each other every single day. But, the things he's done, he's taken us on trips. We stay in contact through a group message, and, everything he's done, he's just, shows what type of guy he is and just how humble he is.
Well, the photo we've got on the screen is, it kind of represents who he is, right? I mean, this is a spring game at TJC or something like that, and he and Brittany come back to watch you play, right?
Yeah. They came, they came back just for a junior college spring game, and he's, drafted in the NFL or going to the NFL.
And everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody's bothering him or whatever. It's hard for him to watch a game if he goes somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And so, I think we've got a couple of the slides when you were at Tech, because, where's this, in your room at home?
Yeah, this is in my room, I think, before we were going back for another semester, either in the spring or fall. I can't remember. There's so many memories we got.
I mean, Patrick and you look pretty young. I mean,
yeah,
because he didn't play his first year, just like he didn't play his first year really in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But after that, he seems to have, taken off.
Yeah, I mean, he needs one. It seems like he just needs 1 year to, look at
learn
it, study it, practice it, and then, he's unstoppable after that.
Well, that's another thing that you and I both know about him. Probably not a smarter player that we've met.
Right. I mean, that's what people really don't know about Patrick, honestly, is how smart he actually is.
Right. His arm throws him off of his mind.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, some people, people could say, oh, he made it just because he could
outthrow him.
He was born with this arm, that's the only reason he's here. And it's like, man, you don't even know what it takes to get where he was.
Look, it's funny that that photograph we've captured that I accidentally Randy sent that to me.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing her, and I remember seeing her in the stands, and I was waving at her in the stands.
And we got Ian Sadler caught in the bottom there.
Yeah,
you see that?
Yeah, that was one of my good buddies. He was a college roommate, and also Nick Shimonek too in the back.
That's right.
He's also one of my good friends too.
But Ian was in the box at the divisional game this past December, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. All of us have stayed close, honestly.
Well, there's you and Patrick, and Patrick's, of course, he's starting at this point, and he's the most famous person in Lubbock for sure.
Yeah, and I'm over there not suited up, just talking to him. We're just probably having a just a random conversation. We probably weren't even talking about football right there. But
now, some of the choices you made, led to you kind of not really having a sense of where you were going. Is that at a younger 20 some odd age?
Yeah, no, it's the unknown was always present, when with a lot of the decisions that I've made in my life or things that I've been doing. I hadn't always known what was going to be next, but I kind of just tried to keep going.
Well, you said earlier that you had worked in the oil field at some point. How did that come about? Because, no one in your family really ever worked in the oil field, or you didn't have any ties there, did you?
No, the only ties I had was my stepmom, her brother, he worked in the oil field, and, at Texas Tech, like I said, I was, made a few bad decisions, few wrong decisions, and, it didn't work out there. So I was kind of looking for a place to go, looking for something to do, kind of just trying to find myself as a young man. And so I contacted Chris and Tyler, both of Rebecca's brothers work out there, and they kind of got me a job out there. And, I just, back then, I thought I was just, I was the coolest. I could go out there and make some money. I had a little money in my pocket, but then you end up learning things about life and about kind of what you want in this life. And
well, let's, kind of give us an indication as to how you got, say, to an oil field job at that time in your life versus, trying something else, maybe a little easier physically.
Yeah, I knew the oil field money was good. So, honestly, if you want to be honest, that was the main main thing. I knew the work was going to be hard. It was, 15-hour days, 20 days straight. I knew that was going to suck, but, you know, it was, I mean, all it was, you know, that was the best job without a degree that I could have had at that moment.
But I mean, you were always tough. You know, growing up with me, obviously, you know, you were better suited for that than maybe the next guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, you had me ready for a lot of things in life, whether it was, you know, anything, football, oil field, just anything that I, you know, decided to do in my life. That toughness and that grit that I've got from you and the Parker family is something I'm always glad that I have.
Well, what did you learn when you were out in the oil field? You were out there about a year, and you know, what did you learn experience-wise by seeing other men? You know, mostly men, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I learned a lot because, I mean, I was, you know, 20, 21 years old, and I was working with grown men, you know, with families and kids. So you kind of, there's just a lot of little things you learn, you know. One thing I remember is, you know, whoever you have a kid with, you know, you got to make sure that's the one, because, you know, there's a lot of guys out there that were, you know, damn, man, I'm glad to be back at work, you know, and I'm not like, why, you know, why? You know, I'm not ready to get back to work, really. And he's, man, I'm just, my wife, my kids, you know, they're this and that, you know. So you learn things about that, but it also makes you grow up a little bit because, you know, at that age, if you're that young, you know, you can't act that young around those guys. So you kind of mature a little bit and in certain areas,
and
you know,
have to, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, or you can't. I mean, you have to adapt, or you won't. I mean, you won't survive out there.
You know, guys making a living, they're not interested in looking out and teaching you the ropes, I imagine.
Yeah, no, I mean, they weren't as some guys weren't as helpful as others, you know. I mean, these guys are, you know, they're trying to make money and provide for their families. You know, I'm some guy that's, you know, just trying to get some money in my pocket to go, you know, go live in my place in Austin, have fun on my days off. But
well, you mentioned something about, you know, you got kind of a bird's eye view of relationships, people that had them and that maybe they weren't ideal or they didn't really like them.
Yes,
right. I mean,
exactly.
You know, is there anything about that you think you took away, you know, in your own personal approach to relationships in your life?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I've always, you know, I've never just jumped into relationships very fast. You know, it's just because, I mean, I want to be 100% sure when, you know, when I'm making a big decision like that. And like I said, when I'm out there with those oil field guys and these guys are, you know, excited to leave their families, then that kind of showed me, you know, you really gotta put in, you know, to really think about and like who you want to be with. And so you don't end up, you know, hating yourself or hating your life every day, because, you know, that's how it is for some of those guys and most of those guys out there.
Or getting divorced.
That, I mean, yeah, that's the ultimate,
right.
The ultimate thing. Yes.
Because you said earlier that you had a stepmother. And so, your mother and I, we were divorced, right?
Yeah.
And certainly, it's pretty simple to say that's not ideal.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
But you know, you have to forge forward the best you can. Right. And how would you say we did?
I mean, you know, it was bumpy and, you know, a rough road for a little bit, but man, I think we really did really good. And, you know, you and my mom always got along really well and made things easier, you know, for the kids. And, you know, back then I remember always thinking, you know, sometimes I'd be mad about it or, you know, think, oh, like this, you know, this sucks or this is hard. But then I would think about others, you know, some people don't even have a dad. I have friends that don't have a dad or have the support system I had. So then, you know, I'd catch myself feeling bad for myself when my situation really wasn't even close to as bad as some of my other friends that I have.
Well, certainly, you know, me included, you would always strive to have a good relationship, a long-lasting relationship. And I'm sure that, you know, our influence on you probably made that even more so, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. Because, I mean, when your parents get divorced, you know, that doesn't feel good at first. You know, it's tough at first, but, you know, it's not, I mean, you get through it. But I just, you know, I look back at it and I just don't know. I know I don't want that for my kids if I can, you know, make it where, if I can make it where that doesn't happen, then that's my goal.
Well, I mean, that should be anybody's goal. And I guess if there's a silver lining Um, friends of mine I think of that's parents got divorced, and these guys seem to go out of their way to find the right person,
Yeah.
to date them longer, to be absolutely sure. And I always believed that it all stemmed from the fact that their parents got divorced.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd probably say so too, just because of they know how they felt in that moment, so they don't, when they have kids, they don't want it to feel like that. But
yeah,
but in anything, you can always find a silver lining into something. I mean,
it's the way you look at the world.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at it as this is the worst thing ever,
everything is glass half empty, glass half full.
Yes, exactly. So it just depends how you look at things.
And I mean, I'm not saying that in a self-serving way because I was the, main contributor to this.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, as a father, you always hope that your kids can overcome, learn a lesson that benefits them and makes their life better, say, than their parents was, and
yeah, I mean, I remember just growing up, you'd always say that to me. You'd say, I always wanted you to be better than me. And
that's still true today. And it's hard for parents to see. It's hard I think the hardest thing about divorce for anybody who cares, is that for the first time in your life, what you end up doing for yourself, to save yourself, to whatever, hurts somebody else.
Right.
Your first time in your life, you're hurting somebody else doing what you think you have to do.
Right.
And that's the first time it's ever happened when you have a kid, right?
And that's why I always, never held a grudge against you or always forgave you. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, you were doing what made you happy, even though it might have pissed me off a little bit at the beginning. But to this, I mean, obviously you can see how things worked out for everybody, and it's all good.
Well, as a parent who's been through this, I mean, I think you just have to accept that you created the situation. The consequences were created by me. And how unhappy the kids are with you or whatever you have to put up with or whatever. That's part of it. It may take a few years. And hopefully, it works out. And thankfully, I feel like, it has. And I do feel like you're probably a more healthy individual at your age than I was at yours.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'd say so too.
I never met a woman I didn't want to marry.
Yeah, I know.
And it's fine. It's fine until you introduce kids into the mix, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, there's little people around you that are hurt.
Yeah.
And so, I'm thankful that you're the kind of son, kind of person, kind of man that can laugh about something that was as painful as it was when it happened, and I didn't mean for the show to divert into that, but I think, nowadays, with families and people, it's a subject matter that a lot of people have experience with. Yeah. They've lived through it.
Well, for sure. And I mean, nowadays too, the commitment thing, a lot of people, commitment to people nowadays don't mean as much as it did back in the day, whether that's even with sports, relationship, anything like that.
That's right. I mean, I think people write things off quicker. But whatever the case may be, you worked in the oil field for about a year, getting a lot of real life perspective on things that other people your age probably didn't see
or probably will never see.
And, combined with what happened to you, with your parents not being together, that it seems like that may have actually been a positive for you to see that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all, that's what I'm saying. I can't really complain about a whole lot, even though there was, it's tough times and, in certain situations, but I really can't complain about much at all. I mean, my life has turned out, pretty great. I got a great family. I'm still striving to play football and do the things I love. I have a good girlfriend, brother, sister, there's just not a lot that I can complain about, honestly.
Well, your relationship to your girlfriend, of course, I'm aware of it. I see her, and I just feel like, it seems healthy. It seems based on the things that uh, can last in relationships as opposed to those that you can say probably won't.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
No, I mean, I knew when I met her that it was, that I was looking for something a little longer than, just, a little something in college. I was at that age where it was, it was time to not play any more games.
well, before you got to the college that we're going to talk about, you're in the oil field. Tell us, or tell the audience, how does a guy who's what age working in the oil field for a year ever get back into college football?
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring up Pat Mahomes again. I'll never forget it. I was in the man camp just with all the guys I worked with. They found out that I knew Pat Mahomes.
Right.
And
everybody, once they find that out.
Once they find out, they're, hey, let me get an autograph.
Yeah, let me get a football.
What you call them or something? It's like, I don't even know y'all like that very well or enough to, to even do that. But we were watching a game and he was playing the Rams. I remember it was against Jared Goff. And I can't remember if they won or lost, but he threw for tons of yards. They put up 45 points or something. I just remember thinking like, man, if he can do that, then I think if I go back and, put everything I got into it, then, I might have a chance. I don't know if I can be the best NFL player in the world, but I think that I can make the NFL or at least the next level.
All right. And so you get this thought, and how does a guy in the oil field, though, even get an opportunity to be on a college team again?
Well, it's funny you asked that because my schedule out there was 20 days on, 10 off. And so on my 10 days off, I was living in Austin at the time. And, I saw something on social media of an old coach that used to coach at Gorman, actually, that he was at Howard Payne, which was a Division III school. And that was Division III was the only place that I could go because of my eligibility clock, which is since I started for Division I and Division II, if you start at age 18, you have 5 years to play 4 years. But with Division III, if you are not in school or a full-time schedule, none of those years count against you. So I knew that I could still go play if I wanted to. And then that coach, he coached me in an all-star game. And I went crazy in the all-star game. So I knew immediately, like if I called him and said, hey, like, can I come back to play football? He was going to say yes.
Was that the high school all-star game?
Yes, at Rose Stadium, the FCA.
Oh, the FCA.
Yeah, he was coaching on a team against me, and I was, I was killing him. So I knew if I asked, he'd probably be pretty excited to have me back.
Okay, so how do you, what time of year is this relative to the season, and how do you get back?
This was, I think, 1 or 2 weeks before the summer session, and another thing with injuries, I was trying to get back into shape. I hadn't ran or lifted a weight in 2 years. I mean, I did, but it wasn't for football. And so I go to the gym to play basketball, just to kind of run around a little bit. And while I'm there, I break my foot. And so when I'm going to the visit for the school, which was 2 weeks before we're supposed to start, they're like, hey, why do you have a boot on? And I'm like, I'll be good in about a week,
This is another one of those injuries that always seem to dog you at the wrong time.
Yeah. And so then I'm recover, and I have 2 weeks, that it takes that long until like to recover just from that ankle injury or foot injury. And so I have 2 weeks to get ready for a whole football season.
Is this the very first year?
The very first year. I had 2 weeks to get ready for a whole football season after taking 2 to 3 years off.
And that first season, though, did you get to play right away, or did you have to work your way into the lineup? What was that like?
I'd always say I got screwed, at the beginning. They had a guy starting over me that had no business starting over me.
Number 5?
Yeah. But the first game of the season, though, I scored like a 40 or 50 yard touchdown. So, I kind of, showed them that I could play immediately. But that whole season, I wasn't getting the love that I knew that I deserved.
You weren't getting the reps,
the passes, anything until kind of the end of the season. And then I remember we played East Texas Baptist And it was funny
They
because
threw you a pass.
no, yeah, I caught a ball that game, but I remember watching them thinking, man, I wish I was playing for them because the way that they were throwing around the ball,
the offense.
And then they wanted me to come to East Texas Baptist, but I was like, you know what, I don't want to leave my guys here at HBU. And that the OC of ETBU ended up coming to be the head coach for Howard Payne. So that offense that I saw that I wanted to be a part of, he ended up being, coming to HBU and being the head coach. So I got to play in the offense that I wanted to play in anyways.
Plus, it seemed like the coach, when he came in, was, more supportive of you as a focal point of the offense than the previous coach.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, right when he came in, they were trying to get me the ball. He knew what he had.
And you played, I guess it was kind of disappointing. I think it was that second year that y'all got ready was when they really canceled the season because of COVID.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was supposed to be my senior year, and I got ready for a big senior year, and right before the season started, they canceled the whole thing. So all my, NFL dreams, my CFL next level dreams were just out of the window is what I thought. But then they ended up saying that they're going to give us a 5-game spring season, which was still kind of a bummer for you for working that hard. And then, but then I go out there and I lead the nation in yards in 5 games. I had like almost 800 yards in 5 games. And then they start talking about, hey, they might give you seniors another year of eligibility. And then that's when, I was starting to get looked at by, some pro teams and stuff like that. But I got blessed, by getting that extra COVID year, because that's when I really started breaking out.
After that 5-game, kind of reduced game season, did you get any awards or anything because you'd led the nation in yardage?
Yeah, I mean, I was first team all conference, and that was it, which was crazy to me. I didn't even get, the MVP, our offensive MVP, just because, I mean, there's a lot of politics and, in football, they had the Harden Simmons, the guys that are on top of the league. Usually they gave it to, a quarterback, but then that next fall, I, got a clean sweep. I got the MVP, Regional Player of the Year, All-American. I got every award you could possibly get.
Well, just looking at what all you accomplished and got to do from just going back from the oil field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you met people you never would have met, I'm assuming, at Howard Payne?
For sure.
Tell me about, where you were with your college studies and all that while you were at the oil field.
Yeah, my school, I didn't have a lot finished, as much as I probably should have because some of the past decisions at, Texas Tech and other schools. But, I had to get certain hours transferred over to to Howard Payne. And so I get there and, I'm 22, but I'm barely a sophomore, so I'm having to battle back, fast and, I was taking 18 hours every semester, so it's pretty stressful for a while trying to do that and football. But I mean, it was what I had to do. I mean,
and you ultimately graduated, did you not?
Yeah. I mean, I finished strong.
Your last season at Howard Payne in football, I mean, you told us you got All-American?
Yeah, got All-American.
I mean, how does that feel to be, number one, an alumni from Howard Payne, number two, to be, one of the few over time, probably, I don't know this, to be an All-American in football from Howard Payne?
Yeah, no, I mean, it felt really good just because, I mean, I always respect and appreciate that university just for giving me a chance, really. I mean, they see an older guy like me, hadn't played football in whatever it was, 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's, they could easily turn me down and, but all the teachers, everybody there was just, they were just really good people and they helped me. And so I wanted to help them. And, before I got there, the team was 0-10, 1-9, 0-10. So I thought
you helped them.
Yeah. And so my goal was to help them win games because, I mean, thing about me is I always, I love football and I like winning, but, I like how guys in the locker room are happy, after a win or, you go to you go to the bar after the game, you kind of just enjoy that camaraderie. When you're winning, that can happen. When you're losing, there's a lot less of that.
Well, some people say they miss the camaraderie in sports more than they do the sport itself.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's for sure. I could see it. I would too, probably.
Just because it's, a bunch of people, striving for the same thing, have the same goal, whether you like each other completely, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's, to reach a goal together after, especially physical exertion, right? I mean, you're fighting out there, especially Howard Payne like you said, you guys didn't win a game the previous season, did you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they won one game in the previous 3 years. So,
I mean, and I've talked to you off camera before, and of course, and you've told me that some of the coaches have, kind of indicated that you were a big part of helping to turn the program around at the time that you actually came there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd say I was just, I mean, my on the field play helped, but I think just kind of the attitude that I brought to our team was, was big because, they weren't used to winning. I brought a different style of football that everybody, I feel like, kind of started catching on to, and we ended up turning into the bullies, instead of the guys getting bullied.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, the Georgetown Southwestern game. I mean, it was nearly a brawl at halftime. There was nearly a brawl here and there. I mean, those teams were traditionally used to just kind of pushing Howard Payne around, and Howard Payne probably wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, no, and I remember it's funny, after that brawl that you're talking about, you think you go in the locker room, you think your coach is going to be pissed off
because you're out there, hollering and about to get ejected after the game.
Right. But he comes in there and, he pretty much said he was proud of us because, nobody was going to push us around anymore.
Well, while you were at Howard Payne, we saw a photograph earlier, where Patrick and Brittany had come to watch you at the game.
Right.
I remember, this is when he got drafted. You remember that?
Yeah, no, I do.
He invited us. He had us there along with a bunch of friends and family from Thailand. It was exciting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time they show that picture of Patrick on the couch, I mean, you're sitting right there. You and Coleman and Brian and the same old guys, right?
Yeah, all right behind them.
And then, the Chiefs moved up and he was taking 10th and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
But like we talked about, I mean, most people do not know that Patrick, Hugo, they came to Brownwood one time.
Yeah, they did. Him and his security guard and a few of my other buddies.
I mean, that's before he left right there when he was drafted by the Chiefs. You remember that?
That was before he went to Kansas City.
Right. We were out at a restaurant, and he was just about to go to camp.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what. And then, I remember that picture. He was in town. He went to Kawas.
Yeah,
I believe it was.
He would still come back and show love to me and his old coach.
I mean, and so, of course, he has a special place in my heart. No matter what happens, you can't say anything bad about him.
Mm-hmm.
I think this photograph we've talked about a little bit. I mean, you were a captain, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, I was a captain on the leadership council.
And just kind of, it's a metaphor for you coming from the oil field, but getting back on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a couple of plays for people that don't know what kind of player you were.
Yeah, went up and got that
you
one.
Could jump. You were mean. Yeah. You were tough. I mean, and if they watch closely, they'll see you talked a lot of trash all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
watch this poor guy.
Anybody that knows me knows that's been part of my game.
Here's Howard Payne. Why don't you give it to these three guys right here?
Yeah.
Here they go. Now watch.
Yeah, I was ready to roll.
I mean, that's a religious league. I mean, you got to watch out. I'm surprised you didn't get more flags.
Yeah, I mean, I think they threw a few on me.
I mean, you were good for a 15-yarder about every game, as I recall, but
just couldn't get two to get kicked out.
And that started off in, literally at high school. I think where we were going with this is while you're in Brownwood having all this success, Patrick's having his own success somewhere else on a much bigger stage, but that spring season, that 5-game in between Super Bowl and his OTAs, I mean, people don't really know this, but he came to Brownwood, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I think we got a photograph of it, but that's not it.
There it is.
There we go. I mean, it's the strangest thing, because I was sitting in the stands, and I knew they had made a place for him in the end zone.
Right.
I think Coleman was with him.
Yeah, Coleman and Brennan.
And Hugo.
Yeah, Hugo.
Yeah, they were for Hugo is security.
Yeah, it's security guard.
I mean, Patrick can't go around by himself in a crazy world like we live today, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, you saw it at halftime. You and him went out to your car at halftime, and you and him were just talking, and there was, hundreds of people just watching y'all talk.
Right. I mean, they were but in Brownwood, the people are, like you said, such good people.
Yeah.
Nobody was going crazy.
Right. They're just,
I mean, they're just sitting there, right? They're just very respectful. They just want to see Patrick, right? I mean, because they can't believe he's in Brownwood, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. But yeah, another funny story about that is, Brownwood's, it's small. It's a small place. So I know, I'd know everybody there. And I remember they went to Chick-fil-A or something before the game, and I knew the guy working at Chick-fil-A, and Pat rolls up and, he's looking, he's like, is that Pat Mahomes? And the guy calls me afterwards like, hey, did Pat Mahomes come to the game? I was like, yeah, I think that was probably him, but that guy in the Chick-fil-A line, that's the last guy in Brownwood, Texas, you expect to see rolling through the drive-thru.
Well, the only reason he went there is because Brownwood didn't have a Whataburger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had one, but
he didn't know where it was.
Yeah, I mean, no, the line was too long, and Chick-fil-A, the line moves a little quicker,
and they were running late, kind of anyway.
Yeah,
but they got there.
Yeah, no, they did.
Coleman and Brennan, there they are.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what it was like for you to take Patrick into the locker room after that win in Brownwood, for all these people that can't believe that he's Patrick Mahomes in the locker room at the Yellow Jackets stadium.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was crazy. I remember before the game, I was always one of those guys that never tried to, just tell everybody in the world like, hey, I know Pat Mahomes. But, the more you kind of look at my social media, know who I am, you kind of figure out, hey, these guys know each other a little bit. And I remember I told him before the game, like, hey, Pat Mahomes is coming to the game. And most of the guys were like, no, he's not. Like, no way he's coming. There's no way. And, he told me he was coming too. So I knew he was coming.
I mean, and Pat is the kind of guy.
Yeah, if he says something, he's going to do it. He wasn't going to bail out on me. And
no, he's not like that. People don't realize he's got a lot of character, right? Like,
yeah, he does.
If he couldn't come, he would tell you, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it.
Yeah.
But if he says he's coming, I mean, you better be getting ready.
Yeah, and so they they give him a little section over there in the small Brownwood field. Not a lot of places for him to go. There's not a box for him to go.
There's nowhere.
And everybody's just they're shocked, and just,
they don't really realize it until about halftime.
Yeah, nobody really knows because he's over there kind of hidden. But after the game, but that's what I wanted to do for my teammates. Honestly, is I wanted him to come watch me, but for those guys, like I just thought it was cool for them to be able to see Pat Mahomes in person and meet him and stuff. I've seen him plenty of times, but for those guys to be able to, get to see the Pat Mahomes, it was, people still text me about that. It's something they'll never forget their whole life.
I mean, just the other day, you go to a wedding and this, kid who played with you, they're wanting to get a ball or something.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we get that a lot nowadays, but I mean, not everybody can, get a signature.
Right. I
or
mean,
a ball.
We say we're spoiled, but I mean, we're just so used to him.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's like me. I'd never been to a game at Arrowhead until some other guy took me this last season because, like you, it's like, we've never asked Pat or told anybody. I mean, everybody already knew because that lived around here, but I don't think people realize, how much time a few people spent with him from about 11 or 12 till the present time.
Yeah.
I mean, at least high school for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of times.
But, one thing about Patrick is he's always been the best wherever he was, right? I mean,
Right.
Everybody in Tyler, when he played baseball or when he played football, he was always right there at the top.
I mean, he was always the best player.
And people had high expectations for Pat, which could translate into pressure, which never seemed to bother him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen pressure get to him in his whole life, even when he was a little kid to now.
I mean, the only time I ever saw pressure get to Patrick, I think we were at the Terra Sawyer Open. 2 or 3 balls went between his legs at shortstop. You remember that?
I mean,
I took him out and put him to center field just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I ever remember where in a game he made errors or did anything.
And I mean, that probably wasn't even pressure. That was probably just him in his own head.
Yeah, he stayed up till, whatever time watching TV in his bed with Jackson next to him.
Maybe.
After he came and visited you, I mean, I'm sure there had to be some kind of buzz going back to school, the students, not just the guys that have been in the locker room with him, but just the students, people saying things to you or asking you about it. I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, there was a big buzz around the school, I mean, you bring Pat Mahomes around somewhere, that's people know that, but I mean, I had a lot of friends and made a lot of good relationships before that. So just for that to happen also too, it was just, it was just kind of a cool moment.
Well, you mentioned this earlier, that there were some good people supported you, teachers, that type of thing. And Howard Payne. Well, I went to your graduation, obviously. And what I was struck by was just how genuine people seemed about being happy for the people that were graduating from Howard Payne. They seemed happy.
It was an environment that I hadn't really just seen that many people wanting you to strive like that. Usually there's not everybody's, some people don't want to see you, they want to see you fail or some want to see you win. But, everybody there, it seemed like they just wanted what was best for the people there.
And, I went to UT Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And graduated and got my diploma sent to me in the mail.
Yeah.
Right. I never saw anybody, never walked anywhere. I mean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that was a foreign concept for me to see just how teachers and people there, and, it made me happy for you, honestly, to look back and say, well, this has been a good place for Jake to be for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Support, school, structure, football, doing good, all those things.
Yeah, no, and I enjoyed it. Coming from Texas Tech, it's the second biggest campus in the nation behind Air Force, I think. I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And so it was, you wouldn't be able to see, you don't even know half the people, on campus, but, you go to HPU and every single person there, every single teacher. So everybody's more involved, that's why they were more excited and happy for everybody. 'Cause, they knew everybody.
We've talked about Patrick and Brownwood, and obviously Brownwood, great people, great place, just not real luxurious, not a whole lot, right?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in the city for sure.
Not a lot of protection or infrastructure for Patrick to come on in.
Yeah.
But, Patrick's always carried you guys along.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, one of the things that really made me believe that Patrick loved you guys, especially you. I mean, a groomsman. And of course, your brother Zach has just kind of ridden along like, a fifth wheel for years, hadn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, Zach, as Zach got older, I always wanted to bring Zach around everywhere that I was, just because that was just, my younger brother. And so, when we're younger, it's like, little Zach's coming along, like, he might be a little annoying. But, as he got older, he became, started becoming friends with my friends.
Right.
And then, when Patrick's inviting me places, he's inviting me and my brother, which I feel like that's what you were about to say.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. It kind of went from, Zach was, hoping to get to go, hanging around, to almost being invited every time y'all went somewhere.
Yeah, Zach became part of the friend group. And
what we're going to show here, we're going to show a video in just a second. And what's funny is, for the people that don't know what they're watching, this is you and your brother on the front row at Arrowhead Stadium.
The AFC Championship game.
The first time Patrick had won it to go to the Super Bowl. And does he know you're sitting there?
He kind of has an idea.
Or does he find you?
He kind of has an idea, but he goes out of his way to find us. He kind of knows the area. I think, some other guys, some other guys from Tyler, they were in that section too. Some of Pat's dad's friends, but they were a few rows behind us. So he kind of knew the area, but it for him to come over there right after they win, to shake me and Zach's hand, which you guys will see on this clip, it was, it was badass.
It was more than a handshake to me, because when I watched it, you could see almost a celebration, like it was everybody's, y'all's, his success. It was like, hey, I want to share it with you guys. And when people watch this, and we're going to watch this right now, I think they're going to see it. See, here comes Patrick, man. He's hunting y'all down. There's you. And then here's old Zach. Zach's back, right there in the mix, man. I mean, it's just, obviously, he don't have much time. He's got to come and go, but he came over, and that was interesting. And this next shot, I remember you sent it to me, and I was kind of amazed, because we were getting used to this, where you guys were getting to go along to the parties, the after parties, like, hey, Travis Kelce's there.
I mean, we were, I mean, through this ride, at some points you sit there and you're like, damn, am I on the team? Because you feel like, I mean, that whole place right here was
rented out
for all the Chiefs. You see the guy in the top left, in the back, it says AFC champions hat. Like,
he's got a hat on
that he got from right after the game. That's a player. So, I mean, we just kind of, got to go along for the ride. And that night was one hell of a night for sure.
I mean, and Travis, I mean, he, obviously Travis is probably the closest to you and Zach of any other Kansas City team member.
Yeah, no, for sure. Me and him still keep in contact a little bit. I know. I remember one time, and I was out and about in Germany, and he sent me a video. I was sending him something. He sent me a video saying, hey, good luck in Germany. I'm ready to see what those stats are looking like. And, it's just funny to see a guy, he's kind of like Patrick too, real humble, and he's not too big for anybody. He's heard a lot of stories about me from Big Pat, is what he said. So he said he knew that we'd be able to, vibe, like, right when we met each other, and it's kind of went from there.
Well, I've watched the New Heights podcast with Travis and his brother before, and he'll say Silky P.
Yeah, that's what they call him, Silky.
That sounds like a Cincinnati,
thing. Smoking on that Joe Burrow, baby.
I was in the picture.
You were
in the background.
Oh yeah, no, but he said it on the Big Pat said it on the field too.
When Brittany posted that photo of Pat lighting up that cigar in the box.
Oh yeah, you were there.
I was in the back.
Yeah,
and all these people started saying, "Hey, man, I see you in the back."
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Well, you went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach got invited there too.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, very few people got invited to that wedding, as it goes with friends and people that he knew, right?
Yeah, and for him to invite Zach too, and just to be a groomsman, and that was, I always thought that I probably would be, but just for it to kind of happen, and it's cool just to, just from everything from the childhood memories to now, and just to be part of, one of his biggest days of his life was pretty awesome.
Well, and, of course, I mean, it's hard for us to watch the TV and the social media and all that and have people talk about Brittany because, we've known her so long.
Yeah.
I mean, we know how good she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why, anytime people say anything about Brittany, I usually try to tell them, you can't be saying that. She's one of my friends, and she's probably one of the most supportive people of Pat that out of anybody, that's no question,
and has been for a long time. When it didn't look glamorous and there wasn't anything great to be supporting.
Yeah, she was there, and sophomore
she was
year,
looking after Jackson when he was a little kid.
Yeah, so she's great.
Whatever. She's a good person to have on your side.
For sure, yeah. Any backlash she ever gets, she doesn't deserve that at all.
So, Brittany, in case I need any tickets,
yeah, Brittany, give Chad some tickets.
My buddy Chris Cooper, he's taking me to the Eagles game, Monday night game coming up this year.
Oh yeah,
so yeah. I'll never see Pat because we'll just go and come back.
Yeah, because is that a home game or away?
Arrowhead.
Arrowhead, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was the wedding like? I mean, I know it was kind of, you know, wasn't a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't remember a lot of press about it.
yeah, I mean, they try to make it, as low key as a guy like Pat can, and it was. We were kind of, in a secluded little island area. We got some security stuff like that. So I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, it was obviously one of the best weddings, I've ever been to, and probably will go to, just with, everything that was involved in it. And, it was cool.
Well, a lot of people that are in weddings, they get a groomsman gift.
Yeah.
I mean, what's a groomsman gift like from Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, shit, he gave me the watch that I'm wearing right now on this one. So
Yeah, I mean, a Rolex Submariner is a pretty nice groomsman gift.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting all that, but
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just tried to get you one.
Yeah, appreciate you,
Remember?
Pat. Yeah.
But yeah, he's he's good to people, and I'm sure a lot of people are, making demands of his time, and it's hard, to manage that. And,
Yeah.
he's doing a pretty good job of it. You've been to the new house, I guess.
Zach's been there before I have, Zach, I've been busy with football stuff, and, it was, I think right when they went was right before I was either reporting to Canada or something like
that's
that.
right.
And so when we go up there with Pat, me and all of our buddies, we usually kind of party a little bit. So I was trying to, stay away from that just for that weekend since I was about to leave. But
Well, we'll get to that Canada thing, but right now, after Brownwood, did you have a chance, maybe for the next level in any type of professional football setting after Brownwood?
I mean, I wasn't getting as many calls and messages as I thought I should have, but me and my agent talked about it. It was a lot about my pro day and how I performed there. And when I did my pro day at Texas Tech, they let me come back, which, I respect them for that. And, I had a really good pro day, and that's what gave me my opportunity to go to the next level.
I mean, did Patrick help with your pro day at Texas Tech?
Yeah, I mean, he did.
I mean, right, if he calls and says, hey, let my buddy have a pro day at Texas Tech.
He helped me a little bit, but also another story, what we talked about earlier with the Texas High School Coaches Association All-Star Game that I won MVP. My head coach for that was Joey McGuire, which was now the head coach at Texas Tech. So I was going to be able to get into that one probably with
And
without
Cliff was
Pat,
already gone.
maybe, yeah. But
Cliff
I
was
mean,
already
Pat
gone.
helped, yeah.
But, obviously I'm a biased father.
Yeah, I hope so.
But, I looked at the pro day numbers. Honestly, I mean, I think, if you look at what the people did at the combine,
hmm
3-cone drill,
Yeah.
Adam, look at them. I mean, you were easily top 5, even the people that were in Indianapolis, weren't you?
Yeah, no, I was. I knew I had a hell of a pro day when Pat called me afterwards and was like, "Damn, you had the best pro day there," and that's what his GM told him. So I was like, "Man, I might have did something here."
Well, I mean, that's when I thought, well, maybe this isn't the end of the road. Maybe he's got a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not just a proud father looking over there at Brownwood scoring touchdowns on, guys that are, obviously not LSU and Alabama defensive backs.
Right, exactly. And that's why the pro day was big, because they had to see
Right, you got to play against somebody.
what I was working with, and just kind of if I was fast or could jump,
if
all
you had
those
the skills to even play.
Right. Because I mean, sometimes, in a lower level like that, you could
Dominate.
you could dominate, but your game couldn't necessarily translate to the next level because you weren't athletic enough, big enough, something like that.
Whatever.
So I kind of got to prove.
The playbook's harder.
Yeah, I got
everything.
to prove what I was during my pro day.
Yeah, it was good. And so, after that, what happened next, or what professional opportunity opened up?
Well, I got invited to the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New England Patriots, and the Kansas City Chiefs mini camp, like the rookie camp, which is like a 3-day thing on the weekend where, that's your time to go show what you have, see if you can make the team, which,
Who liked you best?
The Patriots, probably.
Who liked you best before the pro day?
I mean, before the pro day, that
No, I mean after the pro day. Was it Jacksonville?
Yeah, well, I went to a showcase, and I on the last day we had a scrimmage
In Florida?
No, it was in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
It was it was some showcase, and I scored like an 80-yard touchdown on the last day during the scrimmage portion.
Kind of got somebody's attention.
Yeah, and then
like,
and then Jackson, and then I remember I was down about it because nobody talked to me. There was a bunch of scouts there, and then I go back to APEC in Tyler where I was training like 2 days later, and I get a call, and my phone is like the LA Chargers. I was like, damn, the Chargers are calling me? Like, hold on, like, let me go answer. And then this guy answers the phone, and he's like, says something and says the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I was like, well, hey, your caller ID says the Chargers. And he was like, oh, I used to work for them. And so, I mean, I was excited. I was excited as hell then, because then I was, thinking there was a real shot. Like,
maybe I could just make it to the camp.
Yeah, and make it to the camp. But then, you out of those three, you could only choose two of the three the rookie camps,
and the two
because there's only 2 weekends.
Oh, okay.
And
there's only 2 times.
Only 2 weekends where they do it, and the Patriots and the Jaguars were on the same one. And I thought, me as just a tough white guy, maybe an Edelman, something like that. I could
maybe they wanted somebody like me.
Yeah, so I thought I had a better chance with New England, just with the way I played, toughness, all that, than I did with Jacksonville. So I decided to go to the Chiefs in New England.
I mean, I think we have a couple of photographs.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Chiefs first or the Patriots first?
Yeah, I went to the Chiefs first.
And how was that? I mean, obviously you were in the building that, that Patrick was obviously, one of your best friends. He was the star of the facility that you were putting on a Chiefs uniform to go to a rookie minicamp.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a cool experience, just because I'm in that locker room for a few days with, I see Pat's locker, and really just for a guy that hadn't played football and worked for it as much, they wouldn't understand, but just even to, put that NFL helmet on is, in that jersey, it's like, damn. Like,
well, I've never done it. Most people in life will never do it.
And so even though that didn't work out, with the Chiefs but I just remember putting on that NFL helmet and being in those NFL facilities the first time. It was cool.
Well, and then the next weekend you went to the Patriots?
Yeah, then I went to the Patriots.
Tell us about that weekend and how you did, and what you were told, and what you thought about yourself as a player.
Yeah, I mean, I realized that I really thought that I could play at that level, or be, just even make the team. It was funny, Bill Belichick, you see things about him. He's hard-nosed. He cut 10 guys the first day with no questions. You're supposed to let them last the whole time. And so these guys flew down the night before, practice once, and like 20 minutes after practice, they went in there and cut 10 guys. So after the very first practice, there was only like, 5 or 6 guys left, and I was one of those. And, I had a good camp. And another story about Bill Belichick was funny. We're practicing. In the middle of practice, he just blows the whistle. Y'all go to the hill. So in the middle of practice before team, we go to the hill, and we're running like wind sprints and all this stuff up a hill just to get us, tired, and just to kind of, I don't know, it's just the toughness that, Bill Belichick, I guess, brought to the program. And I thought I had a really good camp. And I remember I walked in there, it was Matt Patricia, he was the OC there, and there was 3 of us left. And, he said, you had a good camp, but we just, we have some receivers. We don't have enough room for you, but, you're a hell of a ball player. Stay in touch. And, that hurt a little bit, but, you still kind of had some sense of pride that you made it past that you finished the weekend, if that
and
makes.
You saw a guy who you see on television on the sidelines at the NFL tell you, that you at least mattered or were good or decent.
I mean, I at least was good enough to make the first practice. Like, that at least gives me something,
but yeah, that's an interesting experience. I mean, because, you've been in the oil field, you're buddies with Patrick, you've been through a mini camp with Kansas City with the Patriots. I mean, You're sitting on what, 27 years of age right now?
Yeah, 27.
But after the minicamp thing that didn't pick you up, you made your way to Germany somehow. Was that in the fall of that year?
Yeah, well, that was I think I left in August or something around that time because I was, I didn't get picked up for the NFL, so I was kind of sitting around wondering what I was going to do. And I mean, I had worked so hard and trained so hard for my pro day that I was in such good shape. It was like I might as well go do something on the field, get some tape out there, and ended up being my my AD from my college, Hunter Sims. His best friend was the coach for the team in Germany, and there was a spot that opened up. A guy got hurt or something, and they asked me if I wanted to move to Germany, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. And then about a week later, I flew up there to, I think it was Frankfurt,
I remember
Frankfurt, and then took a train to Schwäbisch Hall.
The first game, you were off to the races.
Yeah.
I think we got a clip of that first score.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. I mean, I don't know how that guy didn't knock it down.
Yeah, I never knew. I never knew how he didn't knock that out.
It seemed like you were head and shoulders above some of those players over there in Germany.
Oh yeah,
it was
for sure. And
different talent level.
They keep a limit, of how many Americans can be on the team, and that's just. The Americans are usually a little bit better ball players, so they gotta give the guys from Germany a chance to play too, or the whole roster would be Americans.
I guess to keep them honest, I remember watching you, from my room. I call it my room, my big TV.
Yeah.
On the American jerseys, there's a big A on the back of the jersey so they can keep track of how many Americans are on the field at any given time.
Yeah, or and that A in Germany just is basically a target on your back,
Yeah, like the other players are trying to tackle you, hit you any harder.
Yeah, oh yeah. They see that A, they're talking shit on the sideline. That the guys on your team, they like you, but if you have that A in that league, they're looking to hit you or just see where you are on the field because the ball's probably going your way.
Well, most of your life you've pretty much had everything you needed, right?
Right.
I mean, you've never really wanted for anything. You've always had a car. You've always got to go where you do and have money, this, that, and the other, and lived in a nice house. All those things, right?
Right.
Tell us, you get to Germany. What's Germany like? You first get to Germany. Now you're supposed to be living there for the next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, I get there at first, and it's hard to communicate with a lot of people.
People don't speak English.
I mean, most do that are involved with football because they teach in English. They do everything in football in English because they're striving to kind of be like the NFL, so they're not going to coach in German because those coaches kind of want to end up moving up themselves, whether it's college in the U.S. or
right. They couldn't communicate in English. They're not going to be able to coach in the pro ranks.
Right. And so I go over there. I walk in the house. I think there was 7 or 8 of us living in one house. And it was awesome because I had two guys that were from Germany, one that was from Italy, one that was from Washington, and then 2 of those guys had their girlfriends too. So
they were living there
too, and so we're all sharing a bathroom basically. So if you don't hear the shower, running, you're basically sprinting to the shower just to hope you get next. So it was kind of chaotic at first, but
what about air conditioning?
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. Yeah, I walked in there. It's the middle of the summer, and I guess I didn't do enough research on the place. But I walk in there, and I was like, man, there's no way they have AC here. And you walk around. There's flies, bugs flying everywhere because you got to keep the windows open so you get a little breeze. And so, it was a lot different than back home with some AC, and we had no AC, and some beer in the fridge. That's about it.
I mean, Americans don't know how well they have it.
Yeah, no, I mean we have it. There's just so many more opportunities in the United States. Like, I mean, it's hard to explain, but if you just go over there, you can just see they don't have as much ambition as us over here, I feel like, but it's because there's just not as many opportunities. There's just, I mean,
why should I try? Because there's nothing to have.
I mean, they're kind of content with just getting by, but there's just, I mean, at least, and that's just what I saw in the town that I was living in. Because there just wasn't many opportunities to make a real good living.
And you lived in a smaller town, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think, 40,000 people.
And that was Swabish Hall?
Yeah, Swabish Hall.
It was funny when you came back, there was a Netflix series on the Swabish Hall Unicorns on the very town that you lived in.
Yeah, no, right when we got there, they were like premiering the movie. So we were the first ones that got to see it, because it was a guy, he was a linebacker on our team. That he was from Oregon, I think, and he went to USC for film school, and was like, man, I don't like this, and so he came over to play football in Germany, but like he always liked filming and stuff like that. So instead of doing film school at USC, he just started filming everything and started making podcasts, started making videos of all this stuff, and then he had so much footage that he just ended up making a movie.
About Swabish Hall, the unicorns?
Yeah, just the unicorns and Swabish Hall. And he was
Swabish. Yeah, that's right. It's pronounced Swabish.
I say Swabish, but I think the Germans, they say Swabish. So it's all good.
And if you watch that movie on Netflix, it's real interesting because it's a very supportive town.
Yeah,
and,
very.
Much like Brownwood in a way, in a different kind of way, but right. I mean, you went from one place and you go to Swabish Hall, and the whole town, they love the football team, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, they live and die by American football, which is surprising there. They usually, when you hear football,
you're thinking soccer.
You're thinking soccer over there, but that town, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but they loved real football is what I call it.
They support the team. People come out, I guess, on the weekends whenever the team plays.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like almost like a big party in a way. I mean, they all come out, our team was sponsored by, a beer company.
Some German beer. There's a whole bunch of them.
There's just, I mean, they're in the stands, they're everywhere. So,
well, tell us about the first time that, you had an away game. Y'all got back on the bus after leaving an away game to head back to Swabish Hall. I mean, what's the difference in that and say, playing at Howard Payne?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Howard Payne after a win, I'm back there in the back of the bus, dipping, but trying to hide from the coaches, not letting them see me. And, we go to Germany, and the first thing I see when we get on the bus is I can't even walk to my seat in the back of the bus, because the middle's just filled up with 30s and just 30 racks of beer. And
is that what they have down there? 30 racks?
Yeah. Well, man, yeah. I don't know if
they look like they were bottles.
I mean, yeah. I'm just used to calling it a 30 rack, but
is that because that's what you say about the 30 pack in the U.S.?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
and so you see that.
What they call them? Like somebody goes, "Hey, I'm gonna get me a case of beer," in the United States, what do they say about?
To them, it's like water to those guys. So it's not as like, hey, I'm going to get a beer. It's just like, beer's just kind of always around, whether it's with your meal or it's
after
more
the football game.
Yeah, that's
at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any halftime beer drinkers from what I saw, but I mean, it was just more acceptable maybe to drink like
it was more,
early in the day. It
was part of culture.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the people at Swabish Hall? How did they, I'm assuming, they would know all the American players since there were so few of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, easy. The second that I talked, they knew that they would always know that I was from Texas. And that was the first thing they'd say.
Did they ask you if you had a horse?
Yeah, every time.
Okay.
They were like, they thought we rode horses to school. I mean, like, I thought that was always kind of a joke and, people messing around, but like my roommates, like, legit were like, do y'all ride horses to school? I'm like, no, this isn't the old Western movie.
Did you tell them we lived on, the movie Dallas? We lived out there where that house was.
No, I didn't, but yeah, it's funny how they perceive us, but at first, they think Texans are crazy. They can't even fathom that we have guns and all
they don't have any.
No, none. So they think, why are y'all carrying guns? You know what? y'all are crazy. Like, what is wrong with y'all?
I mean, what else do they ask you? Because I'm sure the cultural differences, we're like, hey, why y'all drinking beer on the bus after the game?
Yeah. Yeah, but I was a fan of that one.
That's a good one. We should have done that here.
Yeah, I liked that one.
They used to do that in the NFL. They had beer in the locker room.
Yeah.
In the old days.
Yeah.
But the people, would you say they embraced you? They liked you? They treated you well?
Yeah, for sure. You just have to, at first, there's something about German people. They'll stare at you. They'll just, anywhere you go, they'll just kind of look. And, at first I'm thinking, damn it, do they not like me? But then you kind of,
it's just the way of
it's the way of the world. You start talking to Americans that have been there a while, and they're like, do you ever notice these guys staring at you? And I'm like, yes, all the time. But they don't mean anything by it. I think they're just kind of, just trying to see what.
Not used to seeing an alien from Texas.
Yeah, basically.
What's that guy looking like? What's he going to do?
Yeah, but then you talk to them, and they end up kind of, they end up liking you if you're a decent guy, and you can't go over there and act like Texas is the way to,
yeah,
everything we do is right. You just can't go over to another country acting like that. Because some Americans, oh, this sucks. They'll
take it as disrespect.
Yeah, they'll say something negative about the German culture, something like that.
Like, man, I wish they had some AC around here.
Yeah, it's just like, man, you're there. There's nothing you can do.
That's
about
what
it.
They have.
Yeah,
that's all they have.
And so those guys, they don't want to hear that. So I think
most of the time it's cooler in Germany most parts of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, once it got towards October. My room was feeling good by then because, it was cold. You had a good breeze. It felt like you had AC.
Well, a familiar, stroke of bad luck rears its head again.
Yep.
It's, you're hurt, TJC, you got lucky with the broken foot at Brownwood.
Yeah.
And then what happens, how many games in at Swabish Hall?
Second game in. First game, I remember my stats. I had 7 catches, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns.
On your way.
The next game, I scored a 50-yard touchdown to start the game, and then catch a punt return, and my knee just gets caught up somewhere down in the pile, and I tore my MCL. So they tell me it's 6 weeks, and when I knew they liked me is, if you get hurt out there, they send you home immediately.
Right. Usually. Because there's so little money available for the players.
Right.
Were they paying you?
Yeah. Not much. I don't want to say exactly how much they're paying me on here, but it wasn't an NFL salary.
Yeah, I don't remember cutting off your allowance during any of this period of time.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, and so. Okay, what were we getting at?
You're hurt. Yeah, you're hurt.
Okay,
we're trying to figure out what's going on after you get hurt.
And so I hurt my MCL, and I'm out for 6 weeks or something. Is the quick recovery? It's supposed to be a little longer, and so they're like, you know what, Jake, we like you. We'll keep you around and let you get healthy so you can come back for the playoffs. So I'm like, all right, good. Like, okay, I can come back for the playoffs. Just got to rehab, and I rehab, all that 6 weeks.
And you come back before the playoffs, don't you?
No, I come back the first playoff game. But it was a little earlier than I probably should have came back. But I was just,
I know.
I'm just sitting.
I know how you are.
I'm sitting in there. I'm sitting in Germany. It's like, man, I just want to play if I'm here.
It's boring otherwise.
And then I go out there and I'm probably favoring, that one knee that's hurt, or I'm a little lopsided, or however it was, and then tear my PCL in the other one, and then then it was just
what you never hear about that injury.
I know I never
hear anybody say, "Hey, I tore a PCL." It's always I tore an MCL.
I couldn't understand it because the way I fell and the pain that I had was like it was like behind my knee,
which
which
posterior
right,
PCL.
but that I had never felt, that type of, pain in the back of your knee.
Yeah, right,
even if you're not like, even
Yeah.
if you don't tear your ACL or MCL, you still feel it on the sides a little bit,
or front.
And so I got up and I was, thinking that I could still go a little bit, but
That's just
that
you.
adrenaline kind of, yeah. And I tried to go, and then I couldn't anymore. But again, they could have. I was done for the season that time for sure, no doubt that time. And again, they could have sent me home, but shit, they let me.
Did you want to come home?
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you want to come home?
I don't know. I felt like I was part of the team, at that point, and I was good friends with a lot of those guys at that point, and. Also we had a chance to win the whole thing. So
how many games away?
Got me a German Super Bowl ring.
That's crazy.
I
was getting us to that. Y'all are in the playoffs, and the German Bowl is the German Super Bowl,
right?
Like kind of like the Grey Cup in Canada, Super Bowl
here,
U.S.
Yeah.
But Jake Parker has a German Bowl Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I at least. It made it a little more worth it to get out of there with at least that.
But these crazy experiences, that we've talked about in your life, that just from being with Patrick to going to the oil field, to going to Brownwood, to going to Germany, to winning the German Bowl, while you were in Germany, because Europe's much smaller than the U.S., right?
Right.
To get around.
Yeah.
So did you ever take the time maybe to see some of Europe, maybe like you may never get to do that again?
Yeah, no, I did. I wanted to travel and go around by myself. I don't really know why.
Like by yourself,
just by myself, just me.
Not with a teammate.
No, nobody.
Just kind of where nobody knew where you were.
Nobody knew. I just kind of wanted, and I had got hurt. Like
you were kind of
2
down.
weeks. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get on the train." And
you're down.
Yeah, I was down, and so I get a train. You get around with trains,
right? But you're like me. You're worse than me, I think, as far as knowing how to do stuff. I'm trying to figure out. How was it that you were able to navigate the trains, actually go around in Europe?
It wasn't too bad. I kind of asked around a little bit, but it was just like anything nowadays. There's an app on your phone, and I bought a few tickets. I went to where'd I go first? I went to Amsterdam first. Went there on a train, stayed there.
Stay out of the red light district, I hope.
Yeah, maybe.
This is unfiltered.
Yeah, I might have walked through. I might have walked through there to see what was going on.
Well, sure. Everybody's curious, right? You got to look around while you're out there.
Yeah, so I might have went around that area, and then I went to Belgium. And then I went one.
You went to Paris. I saw
Paris. There it was. Yeah, I forgot that one.
I'm seeing you standing in front of the Eiffel Tower with a fedora on.
Yeah, no, I was walking around and I saw one at the market. And I was like, you know what, I'm here. I might as well kind of look the part. And
yeah, did people wear those?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
and it kind of just went with what I had on. Yeah, so it kind of just worked out. And
you've always been like me in the sense that I could always put together an ensemble.
Yeah, and, yeah. It just
you hit the little street vendor, and before you know it, you're on your way.
Okay, it worked out because I didn't just have a whole lot of stuff in Germany. I wasn't bringing everything I had, so I was just kind of buying stuff on the way just to kind of put some looks together.
You met some people in Germany, it was disappointing, obviously.
Yeah, but it was still, I'd say it was still a great
experience.
Time. Yeah.
Right. We've only got 80 years plus or minus 5, right? If we're lucky. Some people will never, ever go to Europe.
Yeah.
Much less play football there, much less be a part of that. And what about the parade? Did they have a parade for the team after they won the German Bowl?
Yeah, no.
How was that?
We were superstars in Schwabus
Hall. Famous for a minute.
Yeah, we went up there. I guess it was the mayor's office or somebody downtown that's
politicians are always trying to get in on the good stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and so they call out our names, and we walk out there with the trophy like above our head. But I mean, it's what's funny is, when they win that Super Bowl or the German Bowl, for the whole day, it's free beer. No, like you don't have to pay for it at all. So
or the whole town?
Whole town. So
who's paying for it?
I mean, I don't know.
Where's the beer located?
Just everywhere. There's just.
Are there bins? You just go by. Hey, there's a beer.
Well, I mean, it's not that big of a little area like the Schwabish Hall. So there's just tents, and they have tents set up. You just walk up there with a cup. They fill you up. There's bottles. I mean, it's all free. I mean, they eventually run out, towards the end of the night, but for most of that day, it's just a big party for everybody.
Okay. You leave Germany, and I think this is the last picture I had from you.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the sidelines, you're hurt, but you're enjoying the environment like you told us, and you look good. I mean, you look happy to me. That's what I get from that picture over there. When I saw you, I thought you looked good. I thought you were happy. Disappointed, I'm sure, but loyal as always, sticking with the team as always. There you were. So you come back. So what happens? What are you thinking when you come back to the United States about your future football employment? I mean, what are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, at first, you're down just because, you don't know what's next.
Missed opportunity.
A lot of missed opportunities. And, first of all, I had to get my knee fixed or looked at and rehabbed regardless. Right. Even if I wasn't playing football, you want to be able to walk right. And so
exercise at the gym.
Yeah. And so I remember I went to the doctor, and, I remember he said something like, you need to think about, playing with your kids when you get older. And, at that moment, I'm not trying to hear that at all.
Sometimes doctors are a little over,
I mean, I know, but, he's basically telling me I need to stop playing, and that's just not what I want to hear there. So, so that makes me a little even more confused, because I'm thinking, wait, am I risking my health, which is crazy. But I'd keep playing anyways, even if, which is maybe stupid.
These are people that have never played.
Yeah. And so, then I'm like, all right, I'm not giving up just yet, even though there was nothing to,
nothing concrete in front of you.
Yeah, at all. I mean, so I go back to rehab and working out, and then I get a call one day while I was working at your office, and it was the Rough Riders from Saskatchewan, and they called me and said they were gonna sign me, and I was just mind blown.
And that's just a step.
Yeah,
right below the NFL.
Yeah, and
it's better than the German league.
And they never even knew about the Germany injuries, stuff like that. I had to, kind of keep that to the side a little bit. But they signed me off of my pro day and my season before. But since I went to those NFL camps, their season and their training camp had already started. So they couldn't bring me in that year. So then that season ends, and that's when they called me and signed me.
Did you know that? I mean, do you think that it was a missed opportunity to not go to the Canadian League instead of the NFL rookie mini camps?
Well, I didn't. I mean, at the time, I didn't know. The only regret there would be going to Germany, because I was going to get signed to the CFL, but I also had no idea
that you were going to be signed.
That I was going to be signed. They just had to wait, until that. So if I would have known that the CFL was going to sign me, then I might not have went to Germany. But I had no idea about that.
Right.
And so, they called me, and it was good because I was still working out and still rehabbing. My knee was good by then. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I did that. So I'm at least in good shape.
When do you talk to them? I guess, when do you sign with Saskatchewan?
It was November. I can't remember the day exactly, but I want to say like around November 11th.
Okay, so we're talking about 2022.
2022 in November, yes.
And then you're going to report in Canada when?
May. Okay. Or early May, first week or something.
So you're looking at like, man, we got 5 months. Yeah. I'm going to train, get in good shape. And what kind of shape were you? You feel like you were in good shape?
Oh yeah, I was even in better shape then than I was for my pro day because for my pro day I'm training just like
that's saying something.
Yeah, but my pro day I'm training basically like almost like a track athlete in a way because I'm all I'm working on is just running straight, fast. And the pro agility, but you're mostly training for that 40.
Yeah.
So I was in real good shape and big and strong for my pro day, but going into Canada, I was in my best shape because I was still in really good shape, but my football skills were better because I was, just more agile, a little more lean, just not working for a bench press.
You talking about when you go into Canada?
Yes, for Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, because so that was the best shape. Going into Canada was the best shape that I've been in, even more than my pro day.
All right, so you get there, you fly there, and on a Monday?
Yeah, so, something like that.
And they start up, a couple days later.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday?
Yeah, we were there learning the playbook for two days, I think.
All right, so first day of training camp,
mm-hmm.
y'all get out there. Are y'all in pads? Or y'all not in pads? What are y'all doing?
No pads.
And then y'all are just running drills or whatever?
Yeah, I remember I caught a few punts, going back there for punt return, and the special teams coach, he was talking to me. You could tell he liked me a little bit, and so I was like, okay, that's a good start, because you start with special teams, then go on to the other stuff. But
and if you can play special teams in addition to the position, aren't you more likely to make the team?
Yeah, as a receiver now, you literally have no option. You can't. Unless you're unless you're Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, guys like that, like you're gonna play some sort of special teams too, probably.
All right. So what happens? How does it go? How does it end?
Yeah, like I said, I was catching punts, did that, then did a few receivers drills, looked good in there. You could tell the coaches kind of had their eye on me a little bit. I did 3 1-on-1 reps, the first 2. I scored 2 touchdowns on some deep passes because we get a 10-yard head start. So in those 1-on-1s, I was going deep every time, just trying to score. Kind of just.
Was this like the Canadian offense where you start running and you're running ahead of time?
I get a 10-yard head start before they snap the ball. So instead of running a slant or an out, I'm trying to go to the house, and I caught 2. And then went for my 3rd rep, and I ran a corner route and had the guy beat pretty bad. And the quarterback underthrew me. So the guys, I'm coming back to the ball. The guy's chasing me. And then I go up to jump to catch it. And, he's trying to make the team too. So he kind of shoves me a little bit, which, it's football. But I come down and I guess to catch myself with my wrist. And I just hear my wrist snap.
Bad luck.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, that's because I could feel it immediately.
You knew this was bad.
Yeah, and then I tried to keep going. I taped it up.
Same as you did at TJC with the ACA.
Yeah.
AC injury.
But then this is when I knew it was bad though, because then we had to do a blocking drill afterwards.
You couldn't do it.
So, but I still was trying. And then, a little bit went on of practice, and I tried to take my glove off. My glove wouldn't come off.
Swollen?
And it was so swollen, I was like, okay, yeah, this is not good. And I knew if I got hurt then and broke my wrist, I was cut. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
And so, that was a tough situation, but
I remember.
It is what it is for that to happen the very first day. The first day, I couldn't even get to day 2. And the thing about, like, you hear these stories for anybody watching, it seems like there's been a lot of injuries, but I've never missed a game in my whole life in any sport until, I guess, that first injury in Germany. I never missed a game in high school. I never missed a game in college. And then
even in TJC, you played hurt.
Yeah, I still played. But then I get to, after college, and then it's just, injury. And so it looks like, damn, like he's injured, he's injury prone. It's like, dude, I'm really not.
You're not. That's a weird, wrist fracture. Obviously that's not a guy who's running and cuts on the field and just falls down with a torn ACL. That's not that injury.
Yeah. I mean, that's an injury really you want in football almost. I mean, you'd rather break your wrist than a clean break than obviously a knee.
But I mean, the X-rays that I saw, I mean, you could barely even see a line.
Yeah.
It didn't look like much, was it?
Yeah. Oh man, it felt like a lot. I mean, sometimes it doesn't come up like that, but it was fractured. I mean, got the X-rays.
And so the wrist now, it's all good?
Yeah. I mean, the mobility is a little, it's not as flexible as it was before, but I mean, that'll come.
Yeah. Here we are, August 18th, 2023. The Canadian season, Saskatchewan, if things had gone differently, I mean, you'd be starting. Do you think you'd have been starting? I mean, how were you competing when you were there before you left?
Well, so you get there at first, and the veterans aren't there at the beginning. But I mean, I knew from what I was going up against that I was the best guy there at that have the rookies. So I didn't see those other guys yet. So I can't just come out and say, oh, I was going to start for sure.
Yeah.
But in my head, I think I could have.
You'd have been playing.
But I would have been in the mix, I think. And they had a few guys get injured. But
so that happens. Here we are. Where are we going from here? Are there any opportunities from you that you see in the foreseeable future, either in Canada or any place else?
Well, yeah, see, after that was out of all the unknowns, that was the biggest of the unknowns after that injury. Because you're sitting there like, man, is it time to really hang up the cleats now? And then
get a job.
And then get a job, yeah.
Do something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, move forward with life beyond football.
Yeah, and then once again, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, man, I don't want it to be over yet. And
you still felt like
I still felt like I have it, and I went straight back to rehabbing my wrist and getting my body back right. And then I get a call from the Rough Riders again, and they. Basically, I did that good in one day that they said that they want to re-sign me in the signing period here in like 2 or 3 weeks, either them or Toronto. So,
I mean, for people who don't know, the NFL roster, we all hear about you have to get to a 53-man roster in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time that happens, what coincides at the same time, as I understand it, is the Canadian Football League roster gets a little larger.
Yeah, once the guys from those NFL rosters don't make the 53 and get cut, then the CFL expands their roster a little bit more after Labor Day or during Labor Day or something, just to give those guys that got cut from the NFL a chance too.
Are there limitations for Americans or requirements for Canadians like there were in Germany?
Yes, there was, but just not near as severe.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more guys can play.
Yeah, I mean, in Germany, you could have 4 total Americans, 2 on the field at most. And in Canada, you can have 20 on the roster and however many of those guys on the field at once.
Okay. The closer you get to the United States, the better the rules get for the American players.
Right.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, we're 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks away or less from September.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the hope is someone calls you and signs you. I guess they would have to sign you again, or how would that work?
Yeah, they'd just have to re-sign me again. But
if it was a different team.
Yeah, I was released, so I'm a free agent right now. But I mean, my agent, he told me that that I'll be going back to Canada. So now at this point, it's less of an unknown rather than, just sitting here hoping you're going to get signed. He told me I'm going to get signed. So that's a good feeling. And I'm glad I didn't give up after the wrist, or I'd be sitting here screwed right now.
Well, how many games do you think will be left when you get back to Canada?
I think 7 or 8 plus the playoffs, depending if you make it or not.
The Canadian season is longer than the NFL, or
yeah, it's 18 games and 2 bye weeks. Okay. So it's a 20-week season at the least, plus playoffs.
Well,
so it's a long season.
You got a 1-day look at the playbook or a 2-day look at the playbook when you were there?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of
not much, but I mean. You can learn it quick, and plus,
what does it look like, say, relative to what you saw in Kansas City or at the Patriot rookie minicamp?
It's a lot more player friendly, as in, those NFL playbooks and the names of the plays are 2 to 3 sentences long sometimes. A guy's calling out, all type of different things that is, it's hard to remember. And then in the CFL, they kind of, I wouldn't say dumb it down, but as my coach explained, that he wants us to play fast. So if he can make an offense easy to understand, then you can play fast, you can get on the ball and go fast instead of having to huddle up and
quarterback waiting on the call. It's a long call.
And yeah, like or those plays would be, 3 words for the CFL, where in the NFL the play name would be 15 words or something. You're sitting there just listening, so it's a lot.
If you miss one word, you might run the wrong route.
Oh yeah, if you miss one word, you're in trouble. You got to ask the quarterback. But so it's a lot easier to pick up a CFL playbook than an NFL, like, for sure.
Where I was going with that is, you think that playbook won't necessarily prevent you from being able to get in sooner than later, you think?
No, I don't think so. Plus they have, your playbook's open for every game, but you kind of have a game plan every game. So
plays.
So that your playbook kind of gets smaller because you're not going to run every single play you have in the book against certain teams. So going into that week, you'll kind of have a sheet of, of plays and kind of what you're trying to run, and it's the plays you run in practice that week. So you don't have to know the whole playbook to be able to play in a game.
Well, that's certainly that's exciting, and there's a little bit of optimism. I can hear it in your voice, right? You've had a lot of disappointment, a lot of unfortunate injuries that were just kind of little dings in a way. But there's still the kind of dings that took you off the field.
Yeah, there's certain dings you can't play a contact sport with.
But if you could write your own story going forward, 27, if it goes well, if you go back to Saskatchewan or Toronto or wherever you go, you finish off the season, write your own story. What happens? What happens after that? What's realistic for Jake Parker, in football, for you?
I think as long as I stay healthy, I think I still have a few years left. Not just, a bunch of time left, but I still think there's a good possibility that I could come in this year and play. Or even if I don't play this year, be on the, practice squad, learn the playbook, and then be ready to play for next season. But obviously if I was the guy writing my own story, then it'd be, I go there,
did good,
I start, I play good, and then I go get invited to a NFL rookie camp or a mini camp again the next spring,
and they keep you,
then
you battle through and make the roster
53.
cut,
yeah,
the 53.
If I'm writing my own story, it's gonna go that way.
Well, that's the possibilities. We can see the possibilities, even if they're difficult, even if it's going to be tough. We can still see the possibilities right there, right? That's not an impossible road to travel.
Yeah. All I like is if there's hope, then I got a chance.
Because, if it could extend a year, I guess if you had to play in Saskatchewan or Toronto or someplace next year and you had a banner season, I guess it would, maybe improve your chances of making an NFL team the following year.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Or getting invited to the camp, which is the first thing that has to happen for you to even have a chance. Right?
Yeah.
And we've heard Patrick talk before. In the NFL, man, you got to play special teams. If you're not good on there, you won't make it as an average or above average receiver.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And, as you get older too, they're looking to sign younger guys just
fast.
So, it's just tough. Honestly, that's why I respect Pat so much. That league is not easy. The worst guys in that league are still
some of the best.
The so good player. There's just really good players. And to be able to have to cut down a roster to 53, CFL's 48. So, you got to be the best. One of the best of the best.
Well, Patrick, this goes back to Patrick. the quarterback position is so difficult to master in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why people are always looking for a quarterback, right? The next,
Yeah, they'll give up half their team for as long as they got a franchise quarterback.
They think Trey Lance is Patrick Mahomes 2.0,
yeah,
which I don't know that he's going to be.
No, not after the preseason that I've seen so far.
But anyway, they're all hoping for that, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what they're looking for. But you and I talked about this earlier. People have sold Pat short on his football IQ.
Right.
His Wonderlic was not, McElroy, kind of heights, right?
Yeah.
And Fitzpatrick kind of brainy, right? Those two guys, I think, are the highest on the Wonderlic, where they test them to see.
I just still don't know how much that translates to on the field action.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's just like people who have complained for years that some tests, either don't favor certain people from experiences or whatever. Yeah. Because I don't know how Patrick, isn't the Guinness Book of World Record holder in the defensive reads, right?
Yeah. Well, his memory is just
it's good.
It's insane. I mean, I heard Andy Reid. I can't remember what it was on. It was maybe on the podcast with the Kelsey brothers. I don't know. It was on something, but he was talking about how Pat could remember a play from week one or something while they're in the playoffs and they hadn't worked at all, all season or something. He can just remember things, that easy. And I think that's a big part of his success.
Well, that and, what he's always done from, little dribblers basketball. I mean, is improvising.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm seeing him out there. I'm seeing the old no-look pass in basketball. I'm seeing the sidearm throw in baseball. I mean, it's all the same. It looks like the same things to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's funny. Little dribblers, he was
the king.
He was the king, man, and you couldn't double team back then. And me and him played on opposite teams, and I'll never forget this.
YMCA,
and his coach. They'd have a play where all four of their kids would go sit in the corner
and just dribble down.
And you couldn't double team. So Pat would go one-on-one with, a guy on our team, and we played him. He scored every single point the whole game.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the first time I ever.
And I was like, this guy is something else.
I think y'all were 9 or 10.
Yeah, I was on the Rockets. I think he was the Longhorns or something.
I couldn't. That's the first time I ever saw Big Pat.
Yeah.
Was he showed up, he was standing on the wall in the gym over there, and everybody's like, hey, that's Pat Mahomes over there. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I mean, that's the guy you looked up to.
He was like,
Big
hey, Pat
like,
Mahomes in the major leagues, you know? And sometimes Pat has a mean look on his face.
Yeah.
But he's not mean at all.
No, he's just got that stern look.
He does. You're like, dang, that guy's, he looks mean, like,
Yeah,
but when you talk to him, he's like, that guy's not mean at all.
Yeah.
Silky Pete.
Silky Pete, baby.
But anyway, we've had a good time through the years. And, you've had an interesting life thus far, and I'm sure you're going to have an interesting life going forward. And we're just going to have to wait to see what happens with this football. But whenever it's over, what are you thinking about? Your future, everybody has to do something, either something that they like the oil field makes good money, but they may not love it, or something that they really love. And, whatever, what are you thinking about?
Right now, I'm not sure exactly. I've always wanted to coach, in the back of my head, just because, I just, like you said, 20 of my 27 years, sports has been involved. So I feel like it'd be hard for me just to be able to leave it completely. So, that's always in my head. But I've done so many things and been around so many different people in my life that there's just a lot of people that I could just pick up the phone and say, hey man, like, you have a job. There's something I could do. It's not even something that I don't know, like, that I would want to do maybe necessarily, but there's plenty of opportunities if you understand what I'm saying.
I do. Sports builds relationships.
And even when I was young, I went to, St. Gregory, then I went to Rice, and I went to Hubbard, then I went to Moore, then I went to White House. So you meet so many different people, and just working in West, there's just, I'll have plenty of
And you
opportunities.
worked in the oil field.
Yeah. I'll have plenty of opportunities. It'll just be, I'll have to figure out, what I really want to do. And I just, I hadn't got there yet.
You don't have to.
I try to put everything I got right now into football. And then when I know for sure that's done, then I can start doing something. But I'm confident in myself that whatever I choose to do I'll be good at it. And, the adversity I've went through up to this point is just only going to make me better going forward.
Well, obviously you haven't given up. Even with the voice in the back of your head saying, hey, you're getting to be 27, you're gonna have to get a job sometime, I mean, you've fought back against that and decided that, I'm confident that I'm going to do this now. And it sounds like you are confident that whenever I get to the point where I'm not going to do this now, I know I'm going to do good and be good at something when I decide to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something. I don't know. I don't have it pinpointed just yet, but I'm confident in myself, and I think it'll work out.
Well, I mean, I think confidence is probably one of the things that I have used the most in my life. I think to help me be successful is just to be, well, whatever it is, I'm going to be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to figure out a way to be good at it if I'm not good at it at first.
Yeah.
Because everything's a process. You just have to learn what it is. What is it required? What's required from you? What do I need to do? And eventually, outwork people, right?
Right.
I mean, I think, as much, disciplined sports that you've had, that will have to be attractive, I would think, to employers, when deciding this guy versus this guy.
Right. And I mean, even just, hearing, Patriots, minicamp, Chiefs,
Right.
Some of those people don't say it, but, that really, catches people's eye, and they're like, whoa, you're kind of different than the next guy that, that maybe just like you, or
All business there. Right?
Right.
I mean, there's no feelings worried about.
Yeah.
Nobody's worried about your feelings getting hurt.
Right.
Not those 10 guys that got cut the first day.
But you know what I mean? It kind of makes you stand out a little than the other guy, that
people that achieve, strive,
right,
don't necessarily succeed, right? I mean, it's the Teddy Roosevelt, it's the man in the arena type of thing.
Yeah.
That impresses people because so few people today are willing to even get in the arena.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because that's what I have tattooed on my arm right here, is the man of the arena quote that was in your office.
Well, that's right. And that's why it's in my office, because I think that is, it's not the critic that counts.
Yeah.
It's the man in the arena.
It's the guy that's
strives,
going in there and trying,
right,
regardless if if it's going to work out or not. But
yeah, it's better to strive and fail valiantly,
right,
than to sit in the sidelines and say, man, you're not very good, or you can't do it. And it's good that you haven't heard those voices.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're too old. You're going to get hurt again. Why don't you settle down with your old lady?
Oh, I mean, I've heard it from others, but I've heard it from others, but I hadn't let that get to me just yet.
Well, Jake, you're an interesting person. Even if you weren't my son, I'd still think you were interesting. You lived an interesting life. I've been fortunate to be a part of it. Obviously, I coached, I mean, I didn't know that much baseball, obviously. Yeah. I can remember looking at Patrick
I know what you're about
saying,
to say.
Hey, what do you think we ought to do?
Yeah.
He was like, Coach, let's do this. I mean, Patrick's 12.
Yeah, I know. I remember hearing that, and he wouldn't even, it wouldn't faze him, because he knew how much he knew.
He did. I mean, and he didn't. I mean, I was like,
it wasn't just like, hey, is the coach supposed to be asking me that?
I was like, hey, man, we're in a tight game here. What do you think we ought to do?
Yeah, he hops in, but he's just confident what he knows, and
he's always had his daddy's head.
Yeah.
And people won't believe that unless you've ever been with Big Pat and Patrick, as far as You know, like what's going on. Nobody can look at something going on like Big Pat and say, hey, they moved into a zone and they're switched into man and man. And I'm like, man, I just thought they were running around out there.
Yeah, no, I mean, his dad, he knew everything. He took the stats at all the games. You know, he was really a second coach for a guy like me. You know, just even playing basketball. You know, he's always on the front row and one. Like, you know, you hear him yelling that, but you listen to some of the things he's telling you to do during the game. Because it actually helps you.
But those were fun times, man. And, you know, I don't know that anybody will experience, you know, what we did. Got lucky to just have friends that ended up where they ended up and have as much fun as we did. But, Jake, good luck to you. Obviously, I'll be, you know, right there watching.
Yeah.
But, you know, and nobody's a bigger fan of yours than mine. But I appreciate you coming on the show today. Because even if you were not my son, I still think this would have been a very interesting show for people to hear about, you know, football players at different levels striving to make it, having adversity, keep trying, you know, and all the issues we talked about. So I just thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We had a good time.
We did.
It brought back some good memories for sure. You know, you don't forget certain things, but for them to be brought back up, you know, sometimes it just feels good.
Well, we're gonna have a lot more of them, I think.
For sure. We're only better days ahead.
Hey, we got to be positive, right?
Yes, sir. You got to.
All right, Jake. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me again.